456 on the 6th. Yeah, I forgot to tell you the other day too. It was the one day I finished the download and it was wasn't it 404 or 303 or 444? I don't remember. And then it was 555. And then the next day I did the thing. And when I finished, it was also doing it still. It was it was either 555 or 5, I think it was 505. I was like, oh my gosh, there's definitely a countdown going along in the numbers. Like, I keep seeing a countdown all the time. Like, we have got to be getting really close. And the thing is, too, that you can tell is it's like the breakdown in society, because that's a part of it. Society's got to break down, and everything represents everything else in this show. Like, I've watched so many episodes because now I'm caught up. I think they just did 28 last night or maybe yesterday. So I'm gonna watch that one today. But it's on every night except for two, Sunday night and Wednesday night. So it's not like you have to wait for a whole week for it. It's almost every night. So, but I can't watch them all in a row. Whenever you do that, you watch a whole bunch of shows in a row, it really messes with my head. I'll start dreaming about it. I'll start hearing the voices. And I've done this before on Love Island when it was one with a different language or a different dialect. And then every voice in my head starts talking in either Australian or English, but proper English, like England English. that accent. So all of the talking in my head, where I start feeling like I'll just start talking like that too. It's the weirdest thing. But last night, yeah, it was like I was so deep into sleep, but I was real someplace else, and I kept interacting with some of those people. I was like, what in the world? That is so weird. And so I don't know. The yeah, I don't know. Our minds are trippy. It's the great unknown. It's the space out. It's the space that we really want to explore. Like, that is the space that you need to explore. And it is like there's such a like this video really kind of shows, and it was just this quick video I saw this morning. It was like a guy in a theater, and so all the people are in the theater, and there's one guy in the middle, and everybody's turning and looking at something except for him. And then when it goes in on him. He's just sitting there with this really devious smile, and it says, when you realize that how easy everybody's distracted and you know how to use it. So that is the world that we live in. That's the thing, is we have all these people who all follow along. They just follow along. And what's also weird is that we're in a time when some women are realizing their power. And this is the thing about realizing your power. You got to realize the rules behind it. You don't just go in full bore. I don't know how to shoot, but I'm going. It's like you cannot put spells and shit on people and have a good outcome. Like, you just can't. It doesn't work that way. It will backfire. And there's such a big thing about trusting the universe, trusting the plan, trusting your storyline, trusting what is supposed to come to you, not trying to control it, and do what it takes to make things happen. There's lessons behind that. You're going to learn lessons. I'm just trying to help you. I'm trying to help you along. But because now there was a video I also saw this morning of a girl who is obviously understands the powers that people have. And she said, she was talking to the one girl, because there's so much drama on this show. Confirmation. So much. And it is so, like, deep-rooted, deep-seated. It's playing out the breakdown of society right in front of us. It's the craziest. But this is happening all around us. it's not just this show. There's everything. Everything is playing it out. But in this show, it is very representative of the breakdown of society and the being led by sex. Like it is so extreme. I just can't get over it. And I was telling my daughter yesterday, because I keep saying it. I keep saying, like, this is extreme. When did it get so sex driven? I mean, they always had, like, sexy games and stuff, but I don't know. I haven't seen it in a few years, and I don't know if there was a bit build up or if it was just like, go on in. God. Or if it's because this is America, too. This is American Love Island, and it's different than the other ones. Like the English Love Island was, or UK or whatever you want to call it. I don't want to call it British anymore because that's their slang that they came up with to create a new generation of disconnect. But so disconnected from your history, and it's like they're lab made people. Well, you're just a British person. It's like they're trying to discount people's culture or something. I don't know. And but they're doing that all over the place, like telling us that we're rude and racist if we don't call people from Asia Asian. But it's like, well, that makes no sense because everybody we're calling Asian is Oriental, and Asia also has people who look Middle Eastern. So that just is absurd. Why would we call them Asian? But then they put all this pressure. Like, because if you don't say Asian to some people, they get pissed, man. Like, you're a rude, racist asshole. And it's like, yeah, but go listen to what the people say. And they say they prefer to be called Oriental. They're Oriental. They're from the Orient. They don't want to be called, because, the powers that be decided to separate the lands in these formatted allegiance to this flag and that flag, and create tension between the different groups or tribes. And I mean, and that's their go-to. Just like the guy in the theater, create the chaos and just sit back and let them fucking destroy themselves. And they just feed into it. They just buy into it and just do what feels right. That's kind of sad. As so many people, what feels right is very, very wrong. Like, they don't know how to tap into the light. I think a lot of them feel uncomfortable with it. That's probably one of the parts of in our society why there is so much difficulty shifting gears, is because that they're so comfortable in the dark, and when you bring in the light, it's like, nah, no way, no way. That's too straight. That's too white bread. That's too straight and narrow. That's too boring. All this stuff that they come up with. It's like, yeah, but you got to realize what you're really attaching to, what you really got going. This isn't, this isn't. This is way deeper. And uh, it was just one little thing that my mom said yesterday, because she's getting way, way more like, I mean, she's still super religious. Like, she's always trying to put it into that reference, but she's noticing so much more of the magic. And yesterday, she had some magic happen, and so she came home and she was like telling me. And so she, because I had said, her friend across the street, it was a couple that she's known for 30, 40 years, and one of them died. And it was pretty sudden. Like, he was sick. He was kind of sick, but aging and getting sicker. Went to the doctor, and they said, oh, you're in kidney failure. You're going to die. Go to hospice. I think. But, I'm not as involved in this stuff, but it sounded kind of like it was really quick. It was unexpected. They thought it was going to be more treatment or something. And so then he died within a couple weeks, and he just died a couple weeks ago. And that's the one who she's keeps hanging out with her friend who just lost her husband. And so they're hanging out a lot together and going and doing things. And mom's going over and hanging out with her a lot. So yesterday they went out on this big day thing. So they go out, and my mom's calendar is so booked up. She's just like, man, it just keeps going and going and going. And I know that there's reasons behind everything. And I know part of it is, there's a reason why I didn't have boundaries. When somebody doesn't have them themselves, they can't teach it to you. So, I can see some of the things is like you have, and boundaries are just learning, is the world's going, how at this pace, what is your pace? Find your pace. You don't have to go at everybody else's pace. And you got to be able to say, hey, wait a minute, I got to rest. I got this, I got that. So you have to just learn yourself. It's not like you can do it wrong or right, but you just got to learn yourself. And so many people don't learn themselves. They just follow along blindly. We got that going because that's on the show too. So, anyway, so they go out for this big shopping day and out to lunch and doing all this stuff. And so she's at the mall, they're shopping around. And my youngest sister is suddenly there with her whole family because they were there to shop for wedding attire to go to a wedding. And mom and her friend are shopping to get dresses for the memorial service. So the um, so for one thing, just running into them, and that was pretty magical, like the timing. And she said, yeah, that used to happen to me all the time, but now she doesn't go out all the time. I said, probably if you were still going out all the time, it probably would happen, but she's been going out way more. But anyway, so she ran into my youngest sister and her whole family, and they all went around shopping and trying on dresses together and having a great time. And then but there was a conversation with my sister that tripped her out. And she said that, so she knows these people from all the way back from when my youngest sister was really small. So I was already a mom. I was already struggling in life hard, hard. This is a time where I was building a lot of resentment towards my mom too, because she never had time for me. She never had time. Like she couldn't watch my kids for me to go to the grocery store, nothing like that. So I felt like a lot of resentment building and stuff because it never felt like anybody was there for me, but she was just consumed by this homeschooling. And so she was very involved with the homeschool group and all that. Everything was about my sister. That was the tight orbit that was going on in her life, was just that. And so in that group is the people across the street, but there was more people. There was like a whole group of them. And they all kind of grew up together in this homeschool group. So they all got kind of close, but then the kids grew up, moved on, and went about their lives. And so my mom said that she was just thinking about this one, like a week or two ago. She was thinking about him and thinking about him and remembering things and stuff like that. And I think she was thinking about like, he doesn't even know George died and stuff like that. So she just has this whole thought thing going. So then she just goes about her time just thinking about this person and stuff. And and George's memorial is going to be huge, she said, because he's very involved in the church, all these kind of community things, So there will be a lot of people who will come and grieve his passing, but the wife wants it to be more of a celebration, not just, whining kind of thing, which to me is like, that's what makes sense to me. It's like we need to celebrate death more than we get caught up in the untruth about it. So, anyways, while they're shopping, my sister said, "Oh, you'll never believe who I ran into the other day. This kid she was thinking about." She said it was the weirdest thing. I just ran into him all of a sudden. And so I told him about George and stuff. I told him about all this stuff going on. And my mom was just like, what? How in the world can that be? I was just thinking about him. And then she runs into him. And I said, the world's full of magic. I didn't explain to her about the energetic connections that we all have. And, that's one reason why, I'll talk about something that somebody is watching or thinking about or we have an energetic connection. Once we connect with one another, we're connected on a deeper level, on like a vibrational level of energy that is going out and crossing into this like airwaves, if you want to look at it like that. But so we're riding a wave of frequency, and we're all on this wave of frequency. And so when you are away, then it's like you make a call. So you call out, and then that call goes through, and then it just sets the whole thing in motion. And we gravitate towards each other. It's magnetic. And so people come, and then it's so crazy too, because so many people, realize, like, I was just thinking about this person and they called. Well, you're probably picking up on that they're thinking, like, oh, I'm going to call this person. And then you pick up on it, you hear it, you feel it. Like, you just all of a sudden start thinking about this person and then they call. And so it could be you thinking about it, but I think it's the other person thinking about you, and you get the signal to the calls coming in, and then it comes. So, anyways, it's just trippy because we're all so connected, and it is magical because we don't all really understand what it is, and that's what we're going to learn more about. We're going to tap more into that energy as we continue this evolution of man. And oh yeah, in that conversation with my daughter the other day, when I was telling her about the creation of this racist scenario, this racist narrative that they created to keep us all in division, and I said, because I was like, it's about love, 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 baby, and I just kept going in that direction, and I said, and no flag holds my allegiance. I'm a fucking earthling, and so I'm saying all this stuff that's like sounds so wacky to people, but it's the truth. It's absolute truth. I mean, they came up with flags and stuff to keep us under the thumb of the allegiance to the rules of what we stand and what we believe in and stuff. And yeah, and they revolve a culture around it, which American culture is buy, 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 sex, 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 screw people up, greed, greed, greed. Um, so we have a lot of really toxic characteristics, but it's our lack of culture. We don't, when they came up with America, they came up with black people and white people. Like, black people don't know their culture, white people don't know their culture. And then they bring up this DNA test, which is a bunch of bullshit, because I know that what that test was all about was they are trying to use their technology to find certain bloodlines and certain characteristics in people, but it's um it's like they don't know how to find it. They don't know how to tap into it. And so but I think they probably did find some stuff. I mean, there could have been some people who just suddenly got sick and died that had those tests done because they were like, oh, we want rid of that one, we want rid of that one, because there's something with bloodlines and stuff. So and most people don't know what their real true heritage is, where they come from and who they are, and they don't know their guides that are hanging out with them. They don't know anything on a spiritual, deeper level about themselves. And so then they don't go into that kind of perspective of life or existence. So it's hidden to them because they don't have the awareness, they don't think about it, so they don't look at it, they don't pay attention to it, so it's not real to them. But it's real. And so let me think what I was saying. So sometimes it just starts spinning through my head, like it pulls over here, pulls over there, pulls over here, pulls over there. Because then the show, okay, but the okay, and under the allegiance, control. Oh, okay, yeah, in America, where there is like a lack of depth to character. They don't give them the. I mean, our culture, our things are all based on these fucking absurd goddamn holidays that they created. I mean, it's especially when I always thought the Christmas thing was weird. I never understood that, even when I was a kid. Yeah, hell yeah, give me some presents. But at some point, you're like, yeah, but if it's Jesus's birthday and we're not, I mean, if you don't believe in Jesus and you don't believe in this, you don't believe in that, then why would you celebrate it? I was like, I couldn't understand that, and it didn't make any sense to me. And then as we, continued, and people just is so sold on just consume, consume, and consume, buy presents, buy all of the decorations, have big parties. You gotta have a Christmas tree right in your house. You need one every year. You gotta have all the decorations for it. Like, there's just such a creation of spending around this birthday that isn't even real. And then when it starts being like, when you start hearing the people breaking down like the false thing about the Christmas date, and then Easter and all that stuff, and then they just throw in like, oh well, we're gonna do Valentine's Day, we're gonna do this birthday thing. I just can't even fucking not our own birthdays, like that's absurd shit too, but the country's birthday. I just still can't even. Every time I hear people saying anything, it's just like, we had an army before we had a country, you know. I mean, and we have a very violent background because they did come in and just tear through culture. They came through and tore through the tribes. They came through and destroyed them because they were destroying culture, because they needed to make a reset and set it with people who were shallow and easy to manipulate. And if you have some kind of a culture or background, you don't, and then they could give these people more and take more away from these people to create a tension. And my daughter was saying, well, something about white people being racist or whatever. I said, it's not white people, it's the people in charge that are racist. It's not, it's the people in charge. They create that this false narrative of racism, and yes, some people buy into it, but to me, what I see in a racist individual is an ignorance. I've seen this since I was a kid. I was always looking at this because there's like, I grew up in the South back in the 60. Let's see, in the 60s, I think I was in Kansas because I moved to Texas. I think I was 6 or 7 years old. I think it was first grade or something. It might have been like I did half of first grade. I remember I did kindergarten in Kansas because I would walk. I was 5 years old. I would walk and cross a railroad track, walk through town, and it was Lenexa, and it was very small. I mean, it wasn't a huge, huge city or something, you know, it wasn't just, but it's just like such a different world back then, such a different world. And, but then we moved to further in the South because we were in the Midwest in Kansas. It was like farmers, farm town, you know, it was like, and, you know, I don't remember anything about migrants and stuff. Farmers did their work. I don't remember them using cheap labor and screwing people over to get their jobs done, but that did take off at some point. But I mean, it could be like that now, but back then, I don't remember anything about that. It just was, and I was around a lot of farmers, and there wasn't, you know, a bunch of workers like that. The farmers just had to go out in their machines and go do their stuff. And it used to be kids were their workers, their kids. So, anyways, yeah, because even way back when the orphan trains, the reason they were taking these orphans, these farmers in these little towns and stuff, was because they wanted workers. And then they were like, well, they're church people, so they'll raise them right. But the church was always a manipulation. So the church was always doing something shady in the background. And I'm not saying every single church and every single preacher is bad, no. But there was a tunnel to go into that you could be. So they used it. So there is a lot of dark that is in that entryway, in that tunnel of that uh, outlet of searching for who you are or what you are. And a lot of people are searching in the church. So, anyways, then when we moved, so I was like first grade into Texas in the South, and it was a lot of racial tension. And one thing I noticed, I remember noticing as a kid, was that they had all the black people living downtown, and it was like a segregation. It was totally like a segregation because the black people all had their own area, and it was very ghetto created. It was very, you know, wasn't nice. There was a lot of scramble, like the people start fighting against one another. There's never enough. They can't get ahead. They can't get out of it. So it becomes very tense, tension driven, which was, of course, the introduction of drugs and alcohol and stuff, because that's what the three-letter agencies do to control the people. because that's what their real job is about controlling and distracting and keeping us in line. And so but there was lots of racial tension, and people were rude as fuck to people. Like, I think, Colin, if I was standing in a store and there was a white guy, older, full of himself, alpha kind of type guy, which there's a lot of those guys, especially older guys that were like, because they were around when there was people putting on white hoods, man. So, 'cause there was still white hoods going. Like, I think you can still find the white hoods out there. So, but that was still a thing. But if you're standing in a store and you see one of those guys turn to a young black guy, even an older black guy, and call him boy, nah, that's fucking rude as fuck, man. Fucking rude as fuck. Like, there's just a lot of rude, fucking, uh, yeah, dishonorable, very much like disrespectful way of like you're not as good as me, you're lower than me, and the way they would say boy wasn't nice. It was very dialect oriented in a very slur kind of way. It was rude as shit. It was Dakota. Yeah, and it's just too much tension down here with Stella is just like really irritated about her coming down here. It's the weirdest thing. But it's a girl dog. And Stella is very alpha. Um, she wants to be the boss. She wants to boss me around. She's a little bossy bitch, but she's the sweetest little girl too. Um, so, anyways, the the tensions. Oh, okay. So there was a lot of racism and stuff around me at that time, but it wasn't on just one side. It was the tension. And yeah, I think that there was like a definite thing out of fear where a lot of darker skinned people couldn't express. It was a real oppression of the culture. The group of people are very oppressed and segregated. And and when they tried to move out, the people in the neighborhoods would freak the fuck out. A black person moved into the neighborhood, they would freak the fuck out. And I was always like, man, what in the hell is so weird? And then I went through the time of school where we did desegregation. And so there was a lot of racial drama that went on when I was a kid. But what I saw was that anyone who I saw that was racist, I always saw it out of ignorance. It's like you just don't know any of these people. You got to go get to know them. Get to know them on a friendly terms. Get to know them as people. Like they're living, breathing people, and you're treating them like they are animals because they are different skin tone than you. And the um, Oh, yeah, and don't forget about that one fireman. He was over in New York. That wasn't even in fucking deep south. He was in New York, and they were told you go to these places where, um, I think what do we call those places? Uh, Not the reservation. The I can't think of the word, but they would put a lot of real shitty apartments all up together, and then they would these people would be trapped and live in these in the apartment. And of course, they were slumlords, so they just would continue to degrade or disintegrate, and then they would blame it on the people, but it was really the landlords, the people who own these places. I can't think what they're called, but as time went on, lots of poor people ended up in it. It was created to like segregate, but a lot of poor people moved into these places. I can't think of what they're called though again. But anyways, so in New York, the firemen were told if you go into those places saving people, do not, you just gotta let the black people die. Don't bother with them. Like they were told to let him die, and he said that it was, and he like confessed this to a black guy because he felt so guilty, and he was an old man celebrating his birthday, and this guy went up to him, a black guy, was like happy birthday, And the guy came out and was talking to him, and he was so guilt ridden for what he had done. And he said he's still haunted by the screams behind the doors and behind the walls and stuff. And he had to just walk away and leave them dying. And he was like, you know, a first responder supposed to, yeah, you got to do what your morals tell you, not what the fucking powers that be do, because they're going to put you in a bad place. And, but there was just so much of, people just don't get to know other people and get to know them. And they've created this tension over and over and over and over again. Like every group, like, man, when they did the whole thing with, what happened in September, if you, I think it's almost 2 decades ago. What is it? Is it, was it, because I thought it was 2001, or I don't think it was 2011. Let me think where I was. Because I was in my, oh yeah, so I thought it was 2001. Yeah, man, isn't that the craziest? Yeah, that is so weird. 2001. Wait, this is really kind of tripping me out a second. Okay, it's 2001. I graduated nursing school in 2002. 2001, I moved out and got an apartment. Left my husband. I didn't finish school. I told him I was going to leave when I finished school, but I just couldn't take it anymore. I was 2 years into schooling, and then I left, and so I had another year to go. And then I left and got an apartment. So that was 2001. 2002, I graduated, got my license, and then we ended up getting back together, and then we moved into this neighborhood, and then that whole thing. And then I ended up, we split up a while later for good. And then, man, I had a lot of wild times at this house too, because that's when I kind of was released from prison. And I kind of went a little wild on the dating thing. And I had, at the time, I had lots of guys that were really young asking me out. So I was going out and just having lots of fun. And but I had teenage daughters, and so you know how that resentment's working out for me. I still have one that's like, no, she's not my mother. So, anyways, so it was at that house though, at that apartment was when I was getting ready for school. The kids were getting ready for school, and the TV started showing what was going on. But that was 2001, man. This is 2025. Like, that is insane. Man, time is trippy. But but after that, oh my God, how people started, like, they pushed such a narrative, like, you cannot trust these people from the Middle East. They're all out to get us. People got so scared of people from the Middle East. And anybody who dressed different, looked different with that tone of skin, and or that hair texture or whatever, then they became so scared of them, like normal, rational people. And but it was all created, and they're easy to get people to fear for the things that they don't know. And so that's where ignorance comes in, because once you know something, then you're not scared of it like that. Just like the death, the concept of death, and people are so scared of it. And it's like, but it's made up. It's not real. You're not dying. You're just leaving one storyline after another. Could you imagine if you, all night long, you were freaking out because you just left one dream? That was the only dream I was ever going to have. I'm stuck in the, it's like, no, you're going to have a zillion dreams. You'll have a zillion dreams through your life. It's the same thing. You're going to play out a zillion characters in your life. You're going to go through a zillion different experiences. And even in the experience that we exist in at this time, to me, it holds many different experiences. It's almost like you go through different blocks of time in your time. And you go through different experiences. You learn this there, this there, this there. And it's like different chapters in a book, like you're a different person. Well, hopefully you've gotten into that of growth through the different experiences. But yeah, the whole thing behind racism. If somebody's truly racist and you go in and you really talk to them, it's like they either knew one person that did something fuckery and fucked them over, and now they blame everybody else, or they just don't know any, and they just are like scared of something that they don't know, and the news sets a narrative that you can't trust them. They're out to get you, and it's on both sides. Like I know that the well, it did eventually become the BET channel, so they did have a channel that was primarily to um, indoctrinate or set a narrative. And so, but it wasn't like we all had different news like now, because you definitely do. You have right and left news, but now they've got such a great division going on right and left. It's like, oh no, we're just going to call you guys out on your racism too. That's the one we created before. We're going to keep this tension going. And so now we're in the battle of the red and blue, and both of the. It's like you guys all need to sit down and shut up and just shut the fuck up. That's what you need to do. Shut the fuck up, and just sit back. Maybe take in some more stuff. Maybe you know, there needs to be some. Well, this is the thing too. Is what the universe is doing is creating these mass events so that people come together, that they see what's important and what's not important. Like you're not running around in the middle of a flood asking, "Who did you vote for?" Well, fuck you then. And it's bad. Like those kids all got killed in Texas, and there's still all those kids missing. It just makes me sick too. It just makes me so sick. But this stuff is going to keep happening. And then over here, which I'm not sure. It seems weird to me because so there was videos of the park and the fireworks going, and all the people showing and all the people at the park and everything. And then all of a sudden the fireworks stopped, and everybody's like, "What's going on? What's going on?" The fireworks stopped. And then all of a sudden, all these people start running. And so then everybody turns and takes off running. So everybody's running now. And nobody knows why they're running. They're just all running. And so somebody said on there that there was one of these in there that was, you know, doing business. And that that's what everybody was running from. And so I had seen a couple of videos saying that. So then I asked my daughter yesterday morning when I was talking to her, because we're watching this show together. So we're talking all the time throughout the day. And I said, "Hey, did you know anybody at the park?" Because I figured, of course she does. And so she said, yeah, there was somebody from work was there. And they said that it was a fight. A fight broke out. And so I was just like, oh, weird. Huh? So just a fight? And so then I just didn't, but it kept on percolating. And I kept on thinking, what? How would a fight, like if a fight, like you have a giant crowd, which these giant crowds, as I'm telling you, I've been to both things on the 4th. I've been to the Coeur d'Alene one, because that is the crossover where people try and decide, are you going to Riverfront Park or are you going to Coeur d'Alene? Confirmation. So it becomes this, and it's kind of like a combo thing. Like both things are a huge, huge amount of people, and so and both of them have a fireworks show. And I think Coeur d'Alene they do. I think there's a lot of stuff going at the park. Theirs is in the streets. So Coeur d'Alene is a really cute little town that is, like a little shopping town, like with the cute little stores and stuff. It's got a big resort. It's this big lake. And trying to find, because I was going to move there before, and you cannot find any place to live. Every place is rentals for people. Like people go and buy a house there just so they can rent it out to travelers. So it's one of those kind of towns. It's just filled with people who travel. And but there is people who live there too. But anyways, it's when it's a park, because they have a huge park around the lake too, and it's a big thing during summer. Like tons and tons of people go to Coeur d'Alene Lake, and then the other place would be the river. But so and when you have that many people around and tons of drinking going on, there's always fights, always, there's always motherfucking fights. in Riverfront Park. It's the same fucking thing. It's in the park, but it is jam packed full of people. And the park at Riverfront Park is also right square downtown. And it's a Coeur d'Alene, their street. It's the downtown area where everybody is at. And the fireworks show is not there. It's out further somewhere. I don't remember if it's like Airway Heights or something, but it's not right there. And so I was like, well, how would they stop the fireworks for a fight? I was like, that doesn't really make sense to me. Like, how would they even know? And I even said this to my mom yesterday when she got home. She goes, well, I don't know, radios. I was like, yeah, but why would they stop the fireworks over a fight? It just doesn't make sense. There's always fights. I said, I don't know. Seems like, I don't know. I don't know what happened, but they didn't report it on the news either. And which I just saw a cop, like I don't know, chief of police, whatever he was, in Indianapolis. There was a big ordeal that happened. These things, and um, this guy was like fucking pissed. He was like, I don't know what's wrong with you parents that you cannot keep your kids at home. Like, we had at least 200 kids, unaccompanied minors, with no parents around, out there in this area of the celebration where they should not have been. And it was after midnight. He said, what is wrong with you people? Like, and you just depend on the government to take care of your kids for you? It's time for you guys to start taking care of your kids and know where your kids are. Like, I know where my kids are. They're not out roaming the streets. And he was like, oh, he was going off, man. And I was like, that is so true. So many people, they just don't know what to do with their kids. They just leave it for the government. The government can raise them. The government can educate them. The government can do the. It's like, no, we got to pull this shit back in. Like, they have you weak and frustrated, but you can gain strength. You can do a good job. You just got to start learning how to believe in yourself. You know, parenting, you're always going to fail at some things and you're going to do good at others, but it's there to teach you. You're there to learn with these people, and not just toss them off and let them be used by this place, this world. But so there were several people that were, injured. One was dead. He said, we don't know who he is. He's just some kid, and he's very young. We have no idea who it is. And I mean, at some point, parents will be looking for him, I guess. And because sometimes that doesn't happen either. There's some parents who just don't give a fuck. Oh, well, he's gone. I'm good. One less mouth to feed. They don't give a fuck. It's like they wanted to have kids, or they just didn't understand about how to use birth control or something. And then they, once they did it though, and it's hard, because it's hard. I don't know where anybody goes into that thinking it's going to be easy. It's fucking hard as fuck. And it's hard on a level that most people don't understand, and it's overwhelming to them. And they don't have their own things healed. So they don't know what the fuck to do when there's problems. Then there's only so far your dysfunction will carry you, your toxic behaviors. And so we've got a big mess in our society. And yeah, hundreds of people are just letting their kids go out and roam in the streets all night long. And which is creating a lot of violence and crime. He said nothing good happens after midnight, and you let your kids go out there, and some. I mean, I was a teenager who snuck out. Like, my parents didn't know I was out. We'd sneak out and hitchhike, and I don't know, what kids do now, besides uh, have no respect for themselves and have sex with anybody who wants to. But it's so crazy too, because like this one girl on the show, she's like, I've got big boobs, big butt, blonde hair, and there seemed like there was another one, and maybe she was big lips. I got big lips, big boobs, big butt, which is all created. This is all manufactured. This is all enhancements. And so she's like, I got big boobs, big butt, big lips, blonde hair. I'm the package. I'm everything. It's like, this is what our people really think. You got it all if you got all this artificial shit. Like, nobody thinks, what about the true you? What about the inside? Like, what do you got going on there? And this show is so superficial, so much about, like, there has been some, where it was one guy, he was like, oh, she's my type. I love her. She's the greatest. She's so sexy. She's so hot. Well, I'm bud. And so they're just in a little love match there for a few hours. I don't know. I think it was a couple days. And then he started telling the other guys, like, oh no, we just don't have anything to talk about. It's just like there's no conversation. It's like, I think I was just physically attracted to her. Really? You think that's not going to carry you through? It's not going to get you to the end? It's like, yeah, but that's where our society hangs its hat. It's on this artificial, superficial. It's like, well, you look good. Well, there's way more to it. Like, how many people have you met that look good and they're total assholes? They're total, and that can be more prevalent in people who look good because that's a challenge because you can take advantage of people. So there's lots of people who are good looking and they're pieces of shit, total assholes, don't give a fuck. Like, to find a humble, good-looking person is, you find somebody with more quality, an acknowledgement or something of the hardships that you can face, and that looks aren't the most important thing. It's how you maneuver. It's how you get through life. It's how you treat people. That's what's important. And so, um, anyways, it's on this show. It's like you're watching these people who haven't caught on to all this stuff, but they're young too, and they're coming out of this really depleted society, and they're definitely in the generation. They're the generation prior to the generation that they got the biggest hold on. The biggest hold is on these teenagers on this, and I don't know if it's the Z train or whatever, because they've got to label everything because it's a fucking lab, and so I don't know what they call this generation, but they are the ones that they had on what are those devices from the time they were born. And so everybody had their kid on a device, and and they were sold on, like, this was going to make your kid so smart. This was going to make your kid so, above everybody else. They were going to learn how to read and think and do all this stuff before, school. They were going to do all this. So parents just busy, busy, busy. It starts being here's your device. Here's your, every kid had a fucking iPad or something. Here's your iPad or something. And so every kid, and so they become buried in this reality. And that reality stagnated them, it didn't help them grow. It stagnated them and it took over their minds. And it made them emotionally immature. It made them have difficulty with conversations. They have anxiety, about every fucking thing. You try and talk to them, everything's anxiety. They need to text, they can't fucking talk. They, the teachers are saying, like, that they can't do anything. They lose their minds over everything. They, they don't know how to hold pencils even anymore. Like, they hold a pencil, like, I remember when we were in first grade or something, and there was kids that held their pencils like this. Like, they taught us to hold it with the 3 fingers. And then, and some of us started doing it, and we would really work on doing it, but some kids just couldn't do it, and they would hold it like this. Well, that's most kids now. Most kids, and they don't know how to write cursive, like, they can just do this. They don't, and the teachers will say, like, if you even tell them they have to write a paper, they can only get like a sentence or two in, and then they're like, oh, my arm hurts, my arm hurts. And it's like, geez, you gotta at least work out your arms. Like, you gotta work out your brain, you gotta work out your hand, you gotta fucking do, God. Like, oh my God. It's like, no, it's too hard. No, I can't do it. No, I can't do it. It's like, that's what they've created. This, and what even gets creepier is, I just saw a dad, and we've got the battle going with my granddaughter, and what's crazy too is, like, because now she's in another place, and that she's saying, I have no idea why I'm doing this. I have no idea. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know why. They're disconnected from themselves, and it's maybe a form of manipulation or something. But there's even something even more creepy going on, because there was a lot of uh, kids doing in other kids doing in families, kids, like there's a lot of weird stuff going on. And the and I had seen that show. It was like Black Mirror. I can't remember what it was called, but it showed that kids were. I think I've seen this in two different shows, but definitely in this one. But that their their programming is telling them to do these things. So it's telling them, and I don't know. I mean, I think in this show, I don't remember if it was like a subliminal kind of messaging or if there was direct, but kids started going and doing other kids in and stuff. And it was a whole thing about like what they were trying to create or whatever. But so so there's something about the programs, some kind of programming or something that is directing them to do things like self-harm and stuff. So this guy whose daughter was 13 and she just did herself in. And we all know how many are doing themselves in. It's a huge trend in this age range over because they're in the wrong body, they're this or that, like they're just full of turmoil and they just want out. They just want out of this, confusion. And so so the so anyways, there's like a chat rooms or something, and he was saying sh self-harm. So they've got groups of kids and they're talking, but there's also some ringleaders who probably aren't kids who are directing, and there's a lot of mind control going, but they are directing kids to do this stuff, to do these things. And there's even a whole thing about um, money, like do this and you can make some money. You see, and what would it be? It would be that coin that is always making the news and stuff like that. I don't even know how, what all, but when they are paying, is this hidden payment plan thing of getting money, but it's so much more um, devious too, because you got weirdos out there trying to meet these kids. And one thing I had seen on this uh, pedo documentary, I saw this like a long time ago, 15 years ago or something. And I was around people, certain people, like I was raised by one, but I was around some people and it would always be like questionable, like, is this okay? Is this okay? And I've seen people on asking now on TikTok. There's this one girl, she was like, this guy had been dating for 2 years and he started carrying on about his friend's daughter and how great she is, showing me pictures of her. And she's really good at something, rock climbing or something. And so he has all these videos and how much he likes her, and she's just the coolest kid, and all this kind of stuff. And then he starts saying she has a crush on me, and I really like to play into it and all this stuff. And the girls, she was telling all this stuff that he was saying, is she's like, is this a red flag? It's like, that fucking flag is burning, man. That is red, red, red. That is not a little red. It's like, no, what the fuck? Why would a grown ass man be so interested in a little girl? And it's not his own little girl, it's not even his niece. And even if you feel really close to your friends, kids, and stuff, it's like there still should be, I don't, I don't know. To me, that's bad red flag, though. Like, I mean, there's guys that think like that are going in and thinking like, well, she really likes me. We really have a relationship. We're gonna get married. There's ones that are going and trying to snatch the people, and they talk to them in these groups and stuff. Another way that they go and talk to them a lot is gaming stuff. So there's a lot of different avenues that they get access to kids. And then, yeah, like those kids that are gaming, if they're playing a lot of violent ones, then yeah, you can get in there and direct them to. And there is this mind, uh, the, what is that, skull communication, whatever, mind to skull communicate, whatever it is, that where they're talking right through the airwaves to some certain people. But you, again, you got to be on that vibration, and that's where you got to recognize these voices that come into your head and know when to tell them to get the fuck out of here, shut the fuck up. But all these people who don't know how to do that, and they just listen to these voices and think it's coming from inside the house. It's not coming from inside of you, it's coming from outside of you. You got to get to know yourself, get to know your thoughts, get to know how you feel about things. And yeah, we all have a part of us that gets angry. We all have a part of us that's dark and deep and, grimy. But that you don't have to walk in the room with that part. You got to manage that part of yourself. You got to recognize it, see it. But then, it's a clarity to self, but you don't let it lead. That's where you find balance. That's where another thing about it is you learn to accept everybody, because once you can accept this dark side of yourself and see, like, oh, I'm a little bit messy, I'm a little bit good, a little bit bad, and but you have an awareness of it, so you don't lead with bad. Then but the people who don't have any awareness of it, they're like trapped, being misled by this dark energy. This dark energy has access to your being, your mind, and is controlling you like a fucking puppet because you think it's your own thoughts. These are my own thoughts. It's like, no. I would say most of your thoughts are not your thoughts. I've said this for years and years. Most of your thoughts are not your own thoughts. They are, the time when I say that you are having your own thoughts is when you are in replay. You're just playing something. You may replay it, replay it, replay it, replay it, replay it, replay it. That's you. And then when you are in a replay, go in and ask yourself, what are you trying to accomplish here? What are you trying to see? You can't redo it. You can't change it. You can learn from it, but you can't change what's done is done. And so it doesn't matter how many times you replay it, how many times you beat yourself down, how many times you kick yourself in the stomach over it. You still have, it cracks me up. Archie is so fun. They're all so funny. They're all such characters. But anyways, when you are in replay and just beating yourself down, I think that is when you are in your own thoughts. Those are your thoughts. But the things that just come into your head and stuff, that's a different energy. And it just depends on your vibration and who has access to you, is what, what your battle zone is. You got to recognize your battle zone, and when it's going to be based on your vibration. And so that's why you want to pull yourself up out of the certain vibrations that are super toxic, because they will keep you in a, man, my stomach's growling like crazy. I feel starving. So and I am so much like, I just want to stop eating. I am so sick of this food fucking me up. And but the bentonite clay really kicked ass in whatever was going on. Because I was, oh my god, I was in so much pain, and my stomach was fucked up, like everything was. And then I drank the bentonite clay, and it like cleared all those toxins. I think, I don't know, in a world that is so fucking full of toxins, I think we just have to do these clearings all the time. And maybe that's the, because they always say that it's the parasites. That's what the growling is. Like, that's really creepy. It feels like my stomach, but the people are like, oh no, that's the parasites. That's why your stomach's growling. It's the parasites are hungry. Confirmation. So I don't know. Feels like my stomach, but all of the things that I do to clear them out is like, how many could I fucking have? But I was talking the other day with my mom, and she's always, sure, I've got this wrong, sure, I've got that wrong. It's like, but really it is That's her. That's her personality. It's that doesn't mean, I've got these things wrong. It's just how she looks at things. It's how she uh, processes. It's I don't know. It's just everybody has their own thing. But anyways, like I'm always like, I don't have anything wrong. I don't have anything wrong. No, I don't have that. I don't have that. And so, well, you probably have this. You probably have that. No, I don't have that. But we were talking the other day about the parasites, and she was saying something about the worms, and that she had seen some video or something. I think tapeworm or something, and she said it was so huge when it came out. It was so giant. And I said, what always freaks me out is because when I was a kid, my grandma, who was a nurse, she would come to our house sometimes, but she lived in Kansas and we lived in Texas, so we didn't see her all the time. But she was at our house, and I don't remember what it was about. And I must have been sleeping on the couch. Maybe she got my bedroom, so I must have been sleeping on the couch or something. And so she had heard me sleeping, and she told my mom, she's always grinding her teeth, and that's a sign of a tapeworm. And I was real skinny and lanky too, so I always look like, have you feeding this kid? So I don't know, that could have been a thing too, because I still have this thing, my jaw, like I just can pull in these muscles and just like, oh, and I've got to be really aware of it right now, especially once my tooth broke. It was like, oh, I got to really pull and keep on trying to relax these muscles. But I don't know, that really is like, it makes me think like, fuck, what if I have one of those giant ass tapeworms that's been growing in my stomach for fucking 60 years? Like, those are fucking ginormous. And it doesn't just stay, it like goes all over the place. So I think it can be like, and they're really hard to get rid of. So, but I don't know. I mean, it's obviously, it's a part of me, I guess, if it's been with me for that long. But, all this detoxing, and that's another thing too. If you're detoxing and you're not getting rid of the debris, then that becomes very toxic inside of you too, and that can create a lot of problems in your stomach, a lot of pressure, gas, cramping and stuff. So anyways, and our GI systems are totally under attack. I mean, even that one lady had said, like, everybody's biome is, everybody's overrun with the bad bacteria, and all the good bacteria is disappearing. Like, people don't have the good stuff in their stomachs, in their digestive tracts anymore. And that is also where they have stool, what is that? Stool transfusion, kind of stool transfer, where because there was studies on it for a while, but there was even other people who started doing it. Because this one girl, they were twins. Her brother was super healthy, she wasn't, and so she started eating his poop and pill. Like, she would take some and put it in a pill and swallow it, and then she became healthy. And that's what they found in these studies too, is that you could take somebody who was super unhealthy and take somebody who was super healthy and give them and they mostly in the doctors thing, they're not doing it orally, but there is a whole thing about that too, is they're doing it the other direction. So they're coming in through the back door and putting this healthy stool inside of these people's stool, which then the healthy bacteria go in and take over, and then these people become healthy. And so you can go look at those studies, that's the whole thing. And it's just kind of weird, because like they've told us, to like, your poop and pee is so like, it's gross, it's this, it's that, but it's like, fuck, man, it's kind of like your pee is kind of an antiseptic, and you drink it, and if you're out in the desert and you have no water, you can drink it, and it will keep you alive. And then when you hear the people who really have gotten into this whole pee thing, of like, it's like you drink, this is how I understood it. So you drink some water, and then it goes through your system. Your system filters it all out, and then it puts out this redesigned fluid that is full of, like, I don't know, stem cells or something. and it's full of something that's good for you, and then you drink it, and then you get healthier. So it's like using your body to process it or something. I don't know. You have to go in and read some of the stuff. Where I had seen it was when I was fearing blindness, and I thought I was going blind, and well, I was there for a while, and then yeah, and when I was, was fearful that I was going to be blind and sad and focused on that, then my guidance just kept telling me to focus on my inner vision. Don't worry about my outer vision, worry about my inner vision. So I was in isolation there for years, focused on my inner vision. And then once I came out, my outer vision, they started to start clearing up. So things are always what they're supposed to be. It's just like, but people fear it. They fight it. They go, like go in, doc, do whatever it takes, because that's all around me. People are just going in and trying to get the doctor to fix them. But you yourself can fix yourself. It just takes more time, but people don't give themselves the time to do it. And so they rush in for the quick fix, and the quick fix is what's getting us. Everything is this. The fast food's killing us, the quick fixes are killing us, because nothing good comes fast. That's why, we have a whole segment of society who wants to just go and be fixed, be healed, be everything real quick. It's like, no, you're just starting a new path. You're just starting a new journey. You're going in a new direction, and it's going to be work. It's going to be uncomfortable. You're going to be filled with times of discomfort because you're going to break patterns. You're going to break things that you're used to doing things this way. Well, you got to do them different. And so it's a lot of healing that has to go on, a lot of changes in yourself, because you will become a different person through the journey. You shed the old person, and it's not because the old person is bad. It's because you just grow. You grow out of them, and so you grow into, it's like the same thing as trying to say like that the caterpillar is no good. The butterfly is the only thing that has value. Well, without the caterpillar, you don't have a butterfly. So you've got to come into love with the caterpillar self. The self of you that's just, going through the world with no clue. And then when you start figuring it out and you start the metamorphosis cycle to become the butterfly, so you can fly on out of here, that you have to face. It's like you have to face everything the caterpillar did, and the caterpillar ate a lot of leaves. It ate its way through society. So you have to, but you have to, face yourself, face these sides of yourself, and then the recognition of the growth that comes from the experiences. So they're really there for you. It's not that you're ever doing it wrong. The experience is there for you to grow from. It's so crazy how misled our society is, and but it's so focused on division and stuff, and it's so led. And right now we are got so many leaders leading in the wrong direction. So you have all the followers that don't know what the hell is going on, and they just want somebody to show them or tell them, and then they're all being led by toxic kind of personalities, and that's what we're having, like the breakdown happening in the world too, of like social media and stuff, of like all these people following these people, and then the pressure is becoming a lot more high on the people who are being followed. And so on this show, which I think there's going to be more about it today on the one that I'm going to watch, but the one girl, they had kicked her off right in the very first. It's like she was there one day, and then the next morning they get up and they're cooking, and it's like, where's that girl? Like, where's she? So I asked my daughter, like, where's this one girl? Like, what happened to her? And she's like, oh, she had a lot of racist stuff, like old videos that somebody went and found on her where she was saying the N word. online or something. I like I've always thought that word was. I'm offended that people use it, even black people using it. I think it's, why would you use a degrading word on each other? It's degrading. Nobody should be using it. It's rude as fuck. It's like if it's, you're not supposed to use it, none of us should be using it. Sure, the fuck shouldn't be in songs. So, anyways, it's, it's fucking just so weird in this world. So, anyways, she had said it online. I asked my daughter, well, was she singing it in a song or was she calling somebody it? Like, because that's two different things too. So I don't know what her deal was, but they kicked her off the show immediately as soon as this happened. So then there's all sorts of weird shit going on this show. Like, but the one girl who was so toxic in the beginning, she's gotten herself a lot more centered. Like, she really is doing a lot more growth and reflection and stuff. So she's not just being really reactive. And then when you put her with somebody who's more on her vibration, their communication is way better. These two were trying to force something when they weren't vibing. And she's trying to make him be what she wants. He wants her to be what she wants. And that's where you got to recognize, like, that's no way to have a relationship. Like, those people are there to teach you something. They aren't there to be your forever. And we're all trying to force these forevers. And then we're all trying to, have kids, do the American dream, have this, have that. It's like, no, we got to slow the pace. But there's also, in this world that they created, this deadline. They give us a deadline, and you have a countdown every year to your deadline. And you got to dodge the bullets as you're running through. It's like, that's all bullshit. That's all bullshit. It's all fucking fake bullshit. You have a window of time. There's no countdown to it. You just got to learn how to enjoy the ride. And what else was I gonna say about that? So the countdown, I mean, the whole thing is bullshit because you don't really die anyways. But so they have people on this, thinking that they're going to, and so they live their life at a certain pace because the deadline's up ahead. And then there's people who literally think they're dodging death, like they escape death and stuff like that. It's like, no, there's no escaping that. It's like, when it's your day, it's your time, and you're out, your exit, the door opens, you go. There's nothing you can do about that. But there's nothing that happens to you. You just go out of this little world, this little play. You just, off in your exit stage right, and that's it. You're over on the stage watching at that point. And so, but the rest of us who are still on the stage, we're going to grieve that you left, and we're going to be sad because you're not here anymore, but we have to put it into rational perspective of what's real and what's not real, and we get so caught up. But that is also the stage and point that man was at that time. So it gave them more of experience through loss, but we're going into a new kind of, the level is changing in the game. We're leveling up, so a lot of our experiences are going to be changing, and so it's not going to be death knocking at our doors anymore. And so so our time will be extended, so you have a lot more time to focus on the things you need to focus on. And so you're not going to be so driven by the time restraint of, like, being motivated by lack of time and what's going to happen next and fear. And then they just keep having fearful things happen, which there's really bad things happening too in nature. But you got to remember, when the universe and nature, like, we're at a time of reset, so the landscape's changing. The world that we live in has got to go down, and the other one's got to come up, which, as it comes up, it's going to bring up also a lot of our history, a lot of our things that we're going to start to understand and know. That's why all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's a whole city underwater. There's this, there's that. There's things in the mountains. There's things in the Grand Canyon. There's all this stuff because our truth is coming to the surface. Is our world that we have been existing in, or we create. It isn't like we created it. We played a part in it, but we took our time to learn in it. Because even if you think that people aren't learning, well, as soon as they get over to the life review, yeah, it's what you're going through and looking at what you've learned and stuff. So there is learning, even if it doesn't seem like it. So even if you go through your whole life just dead ass, then by the time you get over there, that's just a part of your lessons and stuff. So, anyways, the world that was is ending because it's all of our perceptions and stuff are changing, and we're going into the new world that is going to be full of possibilities and full of a lot of hope. But it's not, it's hope's what's getting us there. Hope is the pull into the future of hoping for better, wanting more, not just wanting more like what our society is driven by, but it's wanting more of the good stuff, and it's pulling that in with, like what I talk about. Instead of aiming your energy towards what they want you to with division and fear, aiming it towards what you're hopeful for, what you want for your future. What is it you are hoping it to happen? And hope can be like an iffy kind of thing, because it's focus on it. Focus, put your focus towards what it is you want instead of the focus on what it is you don't want. And but there is an emotion of a hope, of hopefulness, and so that is going to bring us into a world that is a lot more uh, out of that energy of the breeding ground of hope and love and unity and community. Like that's going to breathe into life, this other world. And so hope has a role, but you just don't want to sit back and be negative and hope for the best. No, you got to go towards it. You got to move in that direction of so find your hope, your hope for a better future, your hope for a better life, your hope for better health. Go towards your hopes and dreams. So the the world at large. Okay, so over here though in the casa, in the villa, the so then you have the one girl who left, and there was all this toxic stuff, all this fighting and stuff. Then one guy left, and then he's on TikTok now, Jeremiah. And my daughter said he's hilarious. And she said that he was when he went on TikTok, he had 44 followers, and then overnight he's got 1.7 million now. It was like overnight, and he he's just a super nice guy, super just nerdy kind of guy who wants to talk about books and stuff. And she said it's hilarious because he keeps going live because he's got a book club going now, and they're reading a romance book. And so he's got this whole book club going, and they go in and discuss the books and stuff like that. So he has a live that he does. And she said he has no idea what he's doing. And it's so funny because he's just so real and he's so authentic and he's so funny. So, and he says like, I don't know what the fuck, and so he does stuff all the time. But anyways, so he was really a good guy. In the marketing of the show, they were trying, the producers. This is the thing about our society. In Lifetime had a show that showed about reality TV from the producer's perspective and what the producers would do. And I just watched another movie about this the other day. It was a movie like from the 80s or something, and it was supposed to be like about a Maury Povich kind of show and what the producers will do. And in this show, I can't remember what it was called, but it was on Lifetime, and it was a couple of seasons, and it was showing what the producers do and the manipulation and stuff that they do. And I think that the show is about a dating one, like a bachelor kind of show. And so, but it's so obvious on this season of this one, the producers and the manipulation and what they will do to get views. And then, but see, then what I'm talking about though is the people with their like lack of self-respect or something. Because I don't understand this sex, and it's like performing. It's like you're going out and performing, showing, like they're some of these. these games, they are going to town and they barely have clothes on. They're on top of people, grinding on them. Like the kissing is so, oh Lord, have mercy on my soul. It's like oh, like, it's so funny too, because it's so, and what movie was that I saw? This was a long, 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 long time ago. It was some movie. It was some actress or actor that they were. It was about them becoming an actor, an actress, or something, and they had to do a kissing scene, and they were trying to explain to him like, you can't be overly into it. You got to. It's a performance. You can't just be all in there slob knobbing this fucking person's face, and so uh, and that's what they're all doing on the show. It's like you guys needed to learn a little bit about how to kiss on camera or something because this is so cringy. It's like God, I'm gonna vomit. It's so like there's tongues and mouths and the cameras are right down in there. It's like oh my God. And then some of this stuff they don't even show all of this stuff because I think it would probably get an X rating. It's like it's so hardcore. I can't even believe it. But then this is coming from a nerd perspective or what am I? A prude's perspective. So, but it's oh God, I think it's so cringy. So the uh, the people go in and oh yeah, okay. So they are willing to expose this, show this. Where to me, I keep being like any of these girls like have a profession. Like some of these guys they could go back to their job and everybody be high fiving them. Oh, you were so funny. Yeah, that was great. Yeah, how was that girl? How was your face dug into that business? Like they've got their butts in their not just their butts. I mean, they have got like it's full on. It's full on. Like I can't even. Like even this girl. Like okay, because they all sleep together. It's a big fucking Willy Wonka room. Like fucking grandma and grandpa sleeping in the same bed. But they've got all these beds lined up in one room. And now, I mean, they're just because there's one couple who the girl it was another girl was interested in him, and so she brought it home that night, and so locked it in, and so and she's been locking it in, locking it in. Well, now they're not just doing that; they also having a little food frenzy. They're going down on each other. It's like this is a room full of fucking people. And one of the people even said, like, you guys are pretty noisy. And she's just like laughing about, oh, well, and she just talks about it and talks about it and talks about it. You know, it's like, dude, you do know that this is like not even just all the people in America are watching. Like, this is, you're putting this out. This is your lead in to your true character. Like, so I was saying something to my daughter, and she goes, "Oh, they'll be fine. They'll be fine." It's like, well, we'll see. We'll see how this all plays out because there's going to be a lot of shifts that are going to be going on, and there's going to be like, if you're just out there trying to be overly sexed and wear cute clothes and put on makeup, it's not going to keep carrying you. Social media and stuff, everything's going to be changing. People's morals are going to be changing. So, yeah, like, and people who have been really immoral are going to be really humiliated, embarrassed of their own behaviors and stuff. It's going to be a lot for them to get over. So, this is very strange as this is all happening, that this is happening. And so, and it's going to be coming out. It's just like the walk of shame, dude. It's like, come on, we've all watched. Like, we've all seen. We've watched how you run through the world. Like, we watch how you move. And but the girls that are doing that and trying to go to work and be taken serious, good luck to you. And two of them are a nurse. One is a guy and one's a girl. And I was like, the guy, he'll probably be able to go back to work, and doctors will be high fiving him. Like, oh, that was great. That's what I do in the back closet with all the nurses. But the girls, you can think whatever you want about this society, but that's just the way it works. Like, a guy's gonna be high fived and the girl's gonna be looked down on. The girl is one is expected to have higher moral standard and be the one who's setting the pace. And when the girls aren't doing that and they're just being like, it's a free for all, let's all go, And I mean, there was so much of, even on this one thing, what was this one? This was, oh, the heart rate. So everybody has to wear these things to see what gets your heart rate up. The one I had seen it before, it was like some lap dancing and stuff like that. Well, this was a lot. But when you already have the S&M game, a few weeks or a few days ago, then I mean, this is going to only go further. So the one girl, yeah, that's weird. Yeah, these producers on this one, they are doing some weird shit, man. These producers lack of, but how far are you gonna let somebody push you? I mean, what are you willing to do? What hoops are you willing to jump through? That's what you got to ask yourself. Like, where's my integrity? Where's my self-esteem? Where's my self-respect? And what is it you want to do? Like, where's my boundaries on this? Because people are just like, well, let's go. And and I don't think it's coming across as great as they think it is. But anyways, they were like doing three-way like having a girl, like a girl and a guy, a couple, because this was the couples now. They're going to go and try and turn everybody on. There was some that were pulling people down and having like a three-way, like a mock three-way here on to turn everybody on. It's like, what? I've I have had so many people try to involve me in that situation and try and get me to be in that situation. And I've never done it, but and I've always thought I was like, ooh, that's a lot of, that's a lot of, you got too many hands going. You got like, no, thank you. It's like I don't look at that as like, ooh, that'd be fun. I look at it as like, ooh, that feels like everybody's taking over. Like, ooh, it's a little too much. And like I'm a one-on-one kind of person, and but there's a lot of people who was just like, oh yeah, everybody's touching and tonguing and I'm really into it. Well, do you? You do you. It's like, just because I'm a prude doesn't mean you have to be. But just remember, the whole world's watching. Because even if it's not on TV, you got your grandparents, your guy, like everybody's watching. So you got the watchers watching. So whatever you're doing is being watched. So um, all the time. And you will come out of this storyline and you will all of a sudden be like, oh, you guys are watching that? Oh, okay, but I mean, there's no judgment. They're not judging you the same, but I think that we still feel a sense of humiliation when we're doing things that we think nobody sees, and then we all of a sudden realize, oh, there was somebody watching that. Ooh, it kind of tripped me out when I realized like we're being watched all the time. It's like when we go to the bathroom. So, anyways, so yeah, they're down there, just putting it all out there. And to me, it's like this is where you gotta be thinking. So, you're 25 years old, and so you this I don't know what the chances are you're gonna marry somebody out of this group. It's probably slim to none. So you're gonna still be out there looking for the right one, and how many of the right ones are gonna want to be with somebody who not just did it with a whole bunch of people, but did it on TV? It is like they're I don't know, because there's still that thing. There's still that energy in our society where a guy will go and do it with this girl and do it, and then but she's not somebody he'd take home to mom. But this girl he's not doing it with, well, she's the one I'd take home to mom. So there's still a judgmental factor in like there's a shadow moral inside of some people. Like they're not going to live up to that, but they're going to expect you to. And so there's still a big sense of, women carry the morals and stuff like that. And when you've got all these girls that are willing to do anything, and be a sex show for everybody. It's like, it's intense, man. And I just keep thinking, like, what has got all these girls so sold on selling themselves as sex that all you've got to offer is your vagina? That's it? And boobs? That's the, oh, and in your ass. You got your ass, and you better plump it up because you gotta have a big one. And and that's another thing too, because all these girls, their butts are all just out there. Everybody's walking around with their butt hanging out, and it's not just like, no, they're full on G strings. And then when they're flipping them up and putting, it's like, I guess they're all bald down there. I don't know. It's just like it's just so, it's so crazy. And then the I'm like the moral police. The what was I gonna say? Because their butts hang. Oh yeah, because all their butts are hanging out all over the place, and I don't know. I think there's tons of fake boobs on there. There's no fucking way, because you can tell because they have a capsule. Like you can see a round thing up here, like it makes a shape. Regular boobs don't have that. They just are flatter right here, but fake boobs, they build up right up in here. And so um, the so anyways, when you see these girls in these skimpy swimsuits, where to me, some of them even, I'm like, where is their nipple? Like, you've got these ginormous boobs, and then you've got these triangles that are way over here. Where's your nipple at? Like, what? Is your, like, do you have makeup over it? So I don't, it's the strangest thing. Like, so anyways, but while they're walking around with all their butts hanging out, and they've all got these giant asses, then it's like, those, you're gonna have to keep up that butt work forever. Like they're all over there in the little thing working out and stuff like that. It's like you can't ever stop, because that is gonna be a lot of butt that's gonna be sagging. That is gonna be a, woo, that's a fall from nature, from pride, right? It's a big fall. And that is a thing that just happens as women age and stuff like that, that their butts start drooping. It starts going and drooping, kind of like the muscles don't stay the same. That's why you're gonna have to just say working out, working out, working out. I'm still hitting into this to keep your butt up there. That's gonna be a lot. A lot of people don't stay doing the same workouts when they're 25 that they're doing when they're 40, 50 years old. I mean, and then plus when you're having to work all the time and stuff, and it becomes all consuming, and then you're trying to have kids, you don't have time to go work out, something's got to give. So, I don't know. Some of these people who are going and getting these big butts put in, it's like, well, I guess you can go get it dissolved or something. I don't know. Get it taken out. uh, uh, I don't know. But to me, I just kept thinking, man, they all look perfectly good right now, but they don't, like, especially when they show them from the side, and it's like way out there like this. And then I'm just thinking, like, where's that all gonna go? Like, be carrying like a little, you have to, I don't know, it's just like, when you go do extreme things, they're ahead. Like, so we'll see, because there's not a lot of ladies who are in their 40s and 50s who already have these. So we'll watch this generation as it comes forward carrying this large package in the back and see what happens as it goes. Maybe the doctors tell them, oh yeah, it'll stay up there forever. Good luck. And that was one thing too that my doctor told me after the fact, after I got my boobs and I went in to complain because they were so huge. And and I wanted to go up like a size. Like all I wanted it to do was fill in the skin. And but he decided, like we already talked about this, the whole Pamela Anderson era. All the doctors thought every girl needed giant boobs, and so all the women who went in and got boob jobs during this certain time, I think still, like I just saw somebody who got one, and they are so extremely huge. I just can't even, like, what? That has got to be so uncomfortable. But as you age, they keep growing and growing and growing. And so naturally, Like, I mean, if you went into the doctor and you just finished having kids and you hate your boobs and they're all saggy and all hanging there and stuff, and you're like, what can you do for me, doc? Oh God, we can fix you up. And but if you went in and he said, oh well, it looks like that for now, but they're gonna get themselves back arranged again, and as you age they're gonna fill up and they're gonna grow, so don't worry about it. You don't need to do anything. You just gotta, they're not gonna look so good for a while. So, that would change things. But no, they're like, jump on board here, spend $10,000 and get some nice ones. But then they keep going and going and going. So these girls are going and get these giant ass fucking boobs, and they're in their 20s. They have no idea what they're in for in their 40s and 50s. It's like, oh girl, oh girl, girl, girl. Like, you probably, we need some more mentor peer group of women out there who have had the boob jobs, who have gotten older, to tell the other ones, the younger ones, like, oh no, they're going to grow and grow and grow, and then pretty soon you're going to have, well, you're going to have a backache for sure, shoulder ache, but your boobs are going to be so extreme because you wanted big boobs. Well, you're going to have them. It's just going to be a little different than you thought. Oh my God, look how long I've been talking, man. But anyways, there's a whole drama going on now with the one girl who's been, going to town with the guy to keep him under wraps, and then she did wrap him up. Now they've gone where they're not going to see anybody else. In that, maybe they're going to become a couple outside of the villa, but now there's some drama about her, and it's all over Twitter and stuff. And so the thing that she did was, so she got Botox and stuff all the time. They all get Botox and filler and all that stuff. So she did a video because she tries to be a makeup influencer or something. Tons and tons of these girls want to be makeup influencers, hair influencers, clothes influencers, all this stuff. So she apparently she was talking about getting her Botox in, and she said she has to do it, otherwise she looks chinky. What? That is rude. That's very rude. Which made me think, like, God, have I said some really rude shit without even thinking about it? Because surely she wasn't thinking about it. She's just, yammering. And I mean, I don't know. Like, just because she said that, does that mean that she's really racist against Oriental people or something? But it's still like really rude to say. But it's blown up. Oh my God. You can say some little thing like that. Just like I said, like that woman, she said the N word. Well, tons of people say it. And it's gonna they're gonna pull you off the show and degrade and humiliate you. And so this woman, like, she was trying to be an influencer. So she had somebody who's been doing her socials for her while she's in here, because you don't have access to any of that stuff. So this girl's been doing it, and her account's been growing, and I think it was getting close to 1 million or something. But then this just came out, and she lost 350,000 in one day. And the moderator who's been taking care of her account now has pulled, and she has said, I'm not going to be involved with in it. And then the girl, I think it might be the same girl, but there was a girl off another season who trained her to be on this season. So told her how to do it, how to maneuver, what to do, how to say, got her prepared for the show. And so she came in this show different, but she's also the one who's, I mean, there's a lot of them having sex, but this one, like, she's, and everybody's hearing her, and so it's like, so, like, everybody wants to be seen as like the sexiest sex person or something. It's like, you got to have more to your character than just what you're carrying in your, downstairs or upstairs. Like, what? So, so now she is, not just, this girl has pulled and said, like, I'm can't be with friends with somebody like this. I can't be involved with somebody like this over saying this, thing that she said. and that her parents have said turned off comments. They've turned off the comments on her thing, and this girl has no idea what she's coming out to. But it seems that on this episode that's about to go down, something is going to. I think she's about to find out. Like, some of these people are going to come out of this villa as villains. Like, people are not liking them at all. And this one guy, Ace, where everybody is like, he is controlling. Yeah, everyone's following his lead. He leads everything, and but that's what you have in a follower society. And he even just said the other day, "Well, I'm a leader," and so fuck you. So I don't know. There's others because these people inside the place have no idea what's going on out here, and supposedly because there's so many videos. Like Twitter is blowing up too on them, but TikTok, so many people doing videos talking smack on them, and so somebody is saying that they showed these videos. So I'm going to see today and see what goes down. But some of the people are just now finding out. Because yesterday they did America's votes. And so they thought certain people were the real popular ones. Oh, oh no. The popular ones were at the end of the line. The other ones, the underdogs are the ones that America loves. The ones that seem to be not so so anyways, but she was kind of up there, but I think it's because everybody loves her fella. And he's the nurse, and he's got this. There's a lot going on this show, a lot, and I just think it's just crazy because it's so representative in the micro macro of our society, and so it's interesting to watch, and it is like a big watching sensation right now. Like you've got so many guys on TikTok talking about it, guys watching it, girls watching it, everybody's watching it, everybody's tuning in for the disasters. Like that's what we are as a society. We all tune in to watch the disaster happen. But yeah, it's gonna blow up, I think, on some of these people, and I think some of these girls that you ever want to be taken serious again out in the work world. Like, oh my gosh. And then these producers, they get these young people who, don't have enough life experience. Their focus is like whether your parents are married or not, that's going to make a difference over what you are as a partner. That's the big talk. Yeah, my parents are still married. Well, my parents aren't married. Well, it's like, you guys don't even know what you're doing to yourselves here. Like, what you're going to be known for and how people are going to look at you as time goes on. It's like some of this stuff is going to be stuff that people are going to want to be like running from, like Casey Anthony situation, Zimmerman. Like, no, I don't want to be recognized for this shit. So I don't know. We'll see. Like some of these people who have gone off the show earlier in the season, they were lucky. Like it felt like a real slap in the face, but it was like, oh, count your blessings. So, anyways, let's look at this business. Biz nasty. It's the hair thing, and it's still like, where's all the new hairs? Like, I don't know. This week I'm getting that B12. I'm gonna fucking load up on that and see what happens. And my eye, same fucking thing, just keeps going and going and going. The tooth, I'll see that. What's that? Everything just keeps ticking away and going and going. Life just keeps moving and moving and moving. So just try and move in the right direction. Because we got a lot of people moving in the wrong direction, but they're going to be hit into a wall and they're going to be flipped back. And it's all, it's going to be good for them, even though it's going to hurt like hell. But, the universe is trying to assist us to go in the right direction, trying to get us to wake up and see the truth, see what's around us, and to get focused on where we should be headed. So, but we're going to see. It's going to be a disaster. So there's going to be some aftermath. And we're going to watch it all play out. And the micro, macro of all things. It's playing out on every level. So, it depends on what you tune into. So, I will just leave you with don't forget, because there's a lot of people who seem to not understand this. The point is working on you, not working on your blonde hair, your big boobs, your big butt, and your flat stomach. It's working on your character, who you are at your core. And so, in order to be the person you want to be, you're going to have to let go of some shit. You're going to have to do some healing. You're going to have to change maybe the directions that you're going in the world. So, working on you, learning to love yourself is, it's a challenge. It's work. It's a big thing. In a world where we live, where nobody loves themselves and they're all just trying to make it, survive, it's, we got a sad world out here. So, but learning how to love yourself and the truth, the true loving yourself, not just a fake ego like I'm the coolest thing in the world. No, to truly love yourself, to truly value yourself, to truly see your own value and your own worth. That's what you're working on. And that's deep. And so learning how to love yourself and learning how to love everybody, because no matter what mistakes anybody makes, they all have value. They all have, we should be allowed to make mistakes without it affecting our values, our value. It's funny because it's so much about our values. So everybody has value and worth. Doesn't matter, if you're saying stupid shit, if you're doing stupid shit, you still have value. But this is gonna be like, it's gonna be something, man. So, anyways, learn how to love yourself, learn how to love everybody, and learn how to have the day you want to have, because there's value to that. Giving yourself value gives the world value. So, anyways, but we'll talk about it again tomorrow. I'm gonna go watch that episode, so I'll certainly give you some more of the tea on that. So, anyways, you can tune in. The rest of America is. So, anyways, but I'll talk to you tomorrow. Talk to you later. Bye.